Hi, this is normally where the spoiler warning will go, but you're not going to watch this, and if you have already, sorry. And now I'm about to be cut off by the... Hello and welcome to Badaptation, where we watch and talk about every theatrically released video game adaptation, their sequels, tie-ins, and whatever else we fancy. I'm your host, Finn, and I'm joined as always by my co-host, the buff film buff, Guy.
Hello.
This week we're doing the movie Dead Trigger, based on the video game Dead Trigger. I had to check that twice because this entire thing is forgettable. You had never heard of this, had you?
Never heard of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Never heard of the movie of the game.
Yep.
Never heard anything about it.
Nope.
Was really, so normally we start things off, we kick things off with a discussion, a deep discussion about how these games connected to our childhoods and whatever else, and the mythology of the,
Or we both go, oh, I knew of it, but I didn't really play it.
I really knew it, but I really didn't play it. But we can't say that here, and One
thing I can add is I've now played it.
You have?
I have. It's the first time I've gone out of my way to go and play one of the games.
Yep.
Because it's free on the App Store. It's a mobile game.
Good.
It's not bad for a game that was released in 2013, at least the most recent one.
Right.
Dead Trigger 2, the sequel to Dead Trigger 1. And, having played it, I can see the appeal. I'll have some gameplay even. Yeah, I've gone out of my way. I've done a little recording of
screen record.
Me being fine. I've played Call of Duty Mobile, and it seems like a predecessor to that in terms of how it controls and...
So it's a first person?
It's first person, yeah. You go around using the little...
Zombie shooter.
Yep. So it kind of plays like the zombie mode of Call of Duty, where you just go through a level, kill all the zombies, get to a location. There you go. It wasn't bad. I can definitely see the appeal, but it's got that, the further you get, you want some resources, maybe you spend a little money. And you've got 10 different currencies, and you got to get them all together so you can keep progressing.
Did it have a storyline?
Not one that I cared about. It was, you play as, I believe you do play as Kyle Walker.
Yep, Walker from the movie.
He is very I'm going to kill those zombies. Yeah, found some money. That'll be useful later.
Yep.
Yeah, gotta reload. Nothing to him. Just, it's all about the gameplay. There's supposed to be a story. As much of a story as you'd expect from a first-person zombie shooter for free.
Well, I guess that's what confused me about the movie.
just that?
Is that why would you base a game, base a movie on a game which has, an incredibly generic story that anybody could think up, a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy of every zombie film ever.
I think it's just name recognition.
Right.
That's also the reason they got Dolph Lundgren in there. Name recognition.
Yeah.
He's good at what he does.
Yeah.
What he does is these movies. But
sure does.
The game itself has 100 million downloads. So if 100 million people have heard of it, surely that's got to help.
Yeah. I mean, you can't deny that had, I guess the game did have some impact. Also, I think it's interesting you said it was 2013, the last update.
Not the last update. It's still going.
Or the last release of a game.
Yeah.
And I think that also speaks to, because 2013 was peak zombie time. It was peak zombie madness. The zombie zeitgeist was in full effect.
Yeah.
And, I guess what we can also talk about is this is a zombie film.
Mm-hmm.
I myself have made a zombie film.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I can sort of draw some direct parallels in the sense that these are both low-budget zombie movies.
Yeah.
And, I could see some of the problems that I had on my film, on this film.
Yeah.
But I also think that my film is much, much better than this. And I think to me, I don't know, but I just got the sense that, this is not a good movie. I don't think that's unfair to say.
Also, just for those curious, his movie is called I Survived a Zombie Holocaust.
That's right, which is actually, it depends what area of the world you live in listening to this. It's not, I think it's actually still available on iTunes maybe.
VPNs.
It is certainly available on Pirate Bay.
Yeah. Thanks, I'll write that
down. Unfortunately, I'm not making any money off that film anyway. Someone else is, so I don't actually really care that much. And I did see some of those things, but like I really invested a lot into my film, both in terms of like trying to make it original, trying to do something like different, try to play with the expectations, trying to do a bit of satire.
I feel that surely you have to be doing something different with zombies, because to me, when I hear zombie movie, I hear tropes.
Exactly.
And I'll revisit that later. But the time that I spent to do with zombie movies was the time spent thinking of writing the synopsis for this movie.
Yep.
Time well spent, hopefully. So Dolph Lundgren leads a group of inept recruits to pad his pockets with money by having this film made. In this film, Dolph Lundgren leads a group of inept recruits to perform every zombie movie trope worse than all films that inspired it. They fumble their way through bad action scenes, predictable plot points, and shithouse dialogue, leaving the viewer with a sour taste in their mouth, eyes, and ears. Dolph Lundgren was the most likable character in this movie, and I didn't care for him much at all. If he dies, he dies.
Good. I like that last bit.
Thanks.
It was really well done.
Someone should say that in a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess Dolph Lundgren is the selling point of this film. Dolph Lundgren, of course, from Rocky IV fame.
Yes.
And apparently the Expendables 1 to 3. The original, like 3 generations ago Punisher. There's been 2 Punisher remakes since that Punisher. He was the original Punisher.
And then there's another iteration
and a TV series Punisher.
Yeah.
There's so many other Punishers, and yet they've listed the Punisher as like his Punisher was the least successful Punisher.
I guess that's probably one of the most comparable characters that he's played to this, though. Like, have you seen him going around shooting a bunch of things? Well, here you go. He's doing that.
Yeah. So,
and he's got the jet black hair.
Yep, he's got that shoe polish hair in. We sort of know him from those things. He also has a whole another career spanning 30 years making these types of films, which is essentially kind of straight to what was, which doesn't exist, but straight to DVD, straight to Blu-ray, straight to VHS. He's actually been through all those eras.
Yeah, now straight to streaming.
Yeah, making these types of films. So this is kind of like his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And he is totally fine in this, doing what he does.
He doesn't do anything I wouldn't expect him to.
But I also think that it's fair to say he's not really phoning it in as such. Like you think he is? Well, I thought he was just giving it, like, he wasn't not acting. He is running up against some really bad actors.
I don't think you can put in much of a performance for the character that he's playing. He is just supposed to be surly and doing some action and shooting some guys in the head.
Yeah.
Like, what else can you really do with that? Phoning it in would be, I guess, doing those really badly.
Yeah, I guess I felt like I could sense a level of acting effort from him.
He's a professional.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the others, not so much.
Yeah, well, I don't think that the others weren't professional. I just think they weren't good. If they're trying, like, they're at least giving it a go. It's just that they're not good.
Well, yeah, some of them are really not good.
Yeah.
So
just sorry, in terms of him being really professional,
it
was a slog to try and find anything to do with this movie because I guess no one has heard of it. Anything I tried to look for Dead Trigger was all about the game, and they're not hugely popular.
Yeah.
And the only thing I could see was he does a little like skit of him going, I'm Dolph Lundgren, and bang, 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 shoots a few of his co-stars, and haha, donate to this good cause. That's kind of the point. And then the rest of the video is how they made it. So it's a behind the scenes of a behind the scenes thing.
Interesting.
Pretty dull.
Yeah. Much like this film.
Yes.
So I did write a note here to myself as I was watching this. This film is a powerful sleeping tool.
Yeah.
I was watching this before you got here, and I was like, not only do I not think I'm going to make it through this film, but I may fall asleep trying.
Okay, little insight. I was very sick when I tried to watch this film at first. I think I had gastro.
Yeah.
But when I tried watching this, because I thought, I'm lying here doing nothing, I'll try fulfill this obligation. And I was dozing in and out of sleep.
Yeah.
But I could still hear the movie happening, and I was having like feverish dreams of Dolph Lundgren around me shooting zombies.
Yep.
It was way better. It was way better than watching it. It was genuinely a sleeping tool.
Yeah.
So like, no exaggeration in your summary there.
Yeah, and essentially, Dolph, he leads a team of new recruits. And we should really talk about this recruiting process. But anyway, they're meant to like go to this place where all these zombies are. Yeah. Although it's not clear. It's like, okay, so why are they just there?
Yeah, I never quite understand.
Because they kept talking like as if they'd killed like a bunch of people's relatives and family members and stuff.
Yeah.
Presumably where they live.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they're like, no, they're not around here. They're in this, dead island or whatever.
Terminal Island.
Terminal Island. There we go.
Sounds like a place we'd store planes.
Yeah.
But yes, and then there's some points where they're just showing like a full bustling city.
Yeah.
It's like, so the zombies haven't taken over the world.
They're just this island.
Yeah. And we're going to take you there to defend yourselves.
Which is so strange. And obviously this is where this like no budget, low budget thing comes in.
Yeah.
Because at the start, the first shot.
So I don't think low budget or no budget excuses bad story. Stories are free.
Yeah, stories are free.
They can be written at no cost.
No cost. The screenwriter doesn't need to get paid. Why would you pay him?
We both obviously disagree with that. but also, we have no impact on that, so who cares?
And also, we do write things. Well, I've written most of my screenplays for free, or very little.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, not that I'm saying that's a good thing, but I guess... So anyway, it starts off with this kind of pan into this post-apocalyptic world with all these zombies about, and there's broken down like cities and stuff.
Yep.
And Dolph Lundgren sitting on top of a thing, and there's this narration going, this is Walker, he's this badass guy, like hunts zombies and stuff. As for me, and then it like cuts to this other guy, wow, my life's pretty bad too, my parents have died.
Yeah.
Life's not good for me either.
Yeah.
And then it just completely cuts away.
Yeah.
For like 20 minutes.
Common theme with these movies we're watching. Here's a little bit of the movie.
Here's two of the main characters.
Yep. And then, but we actually have to start the story
But
over
let's
here.
take a completely different perspective. Yeah. So another one of these, see something and then we'll show you how it all happened, eh?
Yeah. Like, in terms of the overall plot, like I gave a brief synopsis, but that doesn't really tell you the plot of the movie.
No, it made fun of the movie more than it gave you the plot details.
he thinks it was fun. So overall, it's these group of basically kids recruited to be dead triggers, which are just zombie hunters, but shit. And they're going around hunting zombies, and they're given the mission to save a scientist. When they get to the scientist, he's a zombie, but they save his assistant, who is somebody important's daughter. That somebody important ends up not being that important. A big corporation is trying to do big bad things to them to stop them because they just have to, because zombie movie trope. And
Cyglobe.
That's an awful name. God, that's dog shit.
Cyglobe.
And then they have to try to escape the city.
Yeah.
With the scientist's assistant.
City/island?
Yeah, escape the island, sorry.
But they took there in a helicopter, and then at the end, did they get helicoptered out of there? I don't think so. They went on a boat?
Can't remember. Won't rewatch.
No.
Yep. I'll splice in the vehicle that they used.
So, yeah, that's, and it is, and obviously there's some twists and turns along the way.
Yes.
And a massive twist at the end, and we'll get to that.
Was it that massive of a twist?
It was it was pretty big. Sure. It was the second stupidest movie twist I've seen.
Yeah. So, common thing that I noticed throughout this whole movie, which was something that I've noticed in other zombie movies, was if it's not on the screen, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
There's so many examples of this.
Yeah.
A car will come out of nowhere. Why couldn't they hear it coming? Cars make noise. Tires on the road.
Yeah.
Motor running. You know, there are zombies that are completely silent until the camera's on them, and then they're going.
That's right.
And attacking.
Till they're in frame.
They were silent the whole time.
Yeah.
Until then.
Stealth zombies.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Or it just happens throughout the movie, and
every single thing.
It's the only reason anyone dies.
It's the only reason anyone dies. It's the only reason zombies appear.
Yeah.
It's sort of just uses a technique repeatedly.
Even Dolph Lundgren appears out of nowhere at some point to like break something up. He's just like, whoa, I'm here all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Hey, I've come out of my trailer. Stop this nonsense.
So yeah, we sort of open with this narration of these two characters, then cut away from them completely and go to Cyglobe, evil corporation Cyglobe, talking about how they can monetize a cure for the zombie thing.
Yeah.
And then cut away from them and go to the CSU recruiting team.
Yep.
Who are recruiting these
dead triggers,
right? And the actor that has most of the dialogue here is atrocious.
Yeah.
He's lazy. All he does is play video games in his room ever since his mother was killed by those.
His performance, his delivery, everything about it is unbelievable. And he's like, we only select the best, and you're the best. Now, when he says that, he's talking to a fucking nerd playing games with his deadbeat stepdad.
Yeah.
And it's like, how could anyone perceive some of the, like, some guys just, the main character who had that narration is just kind of like moping on in some random building somewhere.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're the best, man. The only person that actually appears to could be like a good candidate to hunt zombies is this kind of UFC boxing lady.
Yeah.
She's the only one that shows like an aptitude for fighting.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that. I think it's probably because I was half asleep.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, okay, that was from this movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so they have this whole boxing scene and she, and she looks like she's actually legitimately tough.
Like they show her winning a fight and then beating up the guy who wouldn't pay her because he was like, yeah, I'll pay you in my penis. And
exactly.
She's like, yeah, fuck off.
And anyway, so she's the only one that you go, oh, okay, yeah, she could be a kick-ass. But all the other ones are kind of like weak little nerds.
Yeah.
No business being dead triggers.
And to jump forward way to pretty much just before the credits, it shows that all these nerds knew each other before all of this, and they all played their VR shitty zombie game while being advertised to by big corporate.
Yeah.
They all knew each other, but there was no indication that they knew each other.
No.
Throughout the movie, that they had any previous relationship.
Yeah.
But then at the end, they revealed, they knew each other all along. That's not a twist. That's not the twist you meant, is it?
The twist, we'll spoil the twist right now.
Okay.
So the twist is, we see essentially this is the end. They've got off the island, but Dolph Lundgren, Walker, that character, he's gone back to help a church full of people who are probably all dead.
Yep.
But he's gone back and he's kicking ass, taking names, and then it pauses, and then it's Dolph Lundgren on TV, and then the main character, quote unquote, who did the narration in the beginning, takes off his VR headset.
Yeah.
And he goes,
"All right, guys, we'll pick this up tomorrow, okay?"
This is the weird part. So the twist at that point would be, this was all a game.
Yeah.
We've all been in VR. We've been playing. What we were watching, this whole movie is a game, which is still true, right? But then...
See, I don't think it is, but yeah, carry on.
His narration goes, yeah, that was the last dinner I had with my family.
The real outbreak started 2 weeks later. Many died.
Okay. So what we've seen is a video game, right? And this was all nothing. This is not this whole movie is nothing. It was a video game these 4 fucking incel nerds were playing, right? But then a real outbreak happened 2 weeks later, which we don't know anything about. We don't know how it happened. We had nothing to do with that. And that was just... That's the movie. That's the end of the film.
I've now realized I've completely perceived how that plot went. They didn't know each other the whole time.
Yeah.
I thought that was a flashback.
No,
this was us before we got recruited.
Nah.
And the real outbreak was them. No, what you're saying makes more sense and is worse. Fuck me.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So yeah, they're like, great game of Dead Trigger, guys. This video game we're playing that you've all just watched.
Also, no, it wasn't. It was dog shit.
And then it's like, but yeah, there was a real outbreak actually in 2 weeks. So I won't see my family again after this particular dinner that we're seeing now.
Yeah.
But you don't need to know about that. But the video game, the story of the video game I played.
Yeah.
Ow.
Like, is that supposed to be an advertisement for the game itself? Because the developers, like I think Mad Fingers, they kind of started disassociating from this movie as the production went on.
As well, they should.
Yeah, but like their name is on it. It's named after their license and everything. And I think the director also, he was like, I don't want my name on this movie.
Right.
I saw just on comments alone, I tried looking into things and I couldn't find anything. But
right.
I think because Google's shitter now.
Yeah.
But apparently they got like chased out of Mexico for not being able to pay certain things.
That would make sense.
Yeah, like this movie was kind of just
cobbled together.
It was horrible to be on and make and watch.
So that was like the ending.
Yeah, oh fuck man. That's made me
hate it even more.
Yeah, somehow.
But anyway, CSU's recruiting these people who are, completely ill-equipped, and then they go to this training sessions with them. Yeah. So you got this motley crew of people, but like what you'd expect is it for it to be like the Expendables.
Yeah.
Where they've recruited a bunch of expendable badasses that all could be dead triggers, but will also fuck up a whole bunch of zombies.
Yeah. Instead, they recruit no-life nobodies who are no good at nothing. There's a point in the movie where like some actual military people approach these dead triggers who are going out for like a night of fun at, I don't know, it looks like a bowling club or something where they're just playing pool and they get approached by some like older man who's like, yeah, you're playing on our pool table even though there's 2 free behind us, which you've just pointed out. You guys are dead triggers and you're going to be dead.
Yeah.
And then like one of them, I can't remember, they have like a comeback to him and it's either verbal or they throw a drink on him or punch him or something. And then there's some fake crowd noise. It's so bad because you can't see anybody.
Because there's no one there, of course, because they can't afford extras for this scene.
No.
Yeah.
Like it was just one of those things I'm like, it makes, just don't have it. It actually just showed me how empty this film is by having that.
Yeah. We also kind of apart from Dolph standing on top of the thing, the next intro to him is he's lounging about with a fucking gun with a single bullet in it. He spins it, shoots it, blank. Spins it, shoots it, blank. Just for no reason. He's just fucking around. This is what he does on his on his downtime.
Is he shooting? Is it pointing it at somebody?
No, but that's the weird thing. He's just pointing it dangerously at a wall while someone is kind of beside him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, how do you do that trick? And he's like, it's not a trick. It's just luck. So it's like, what?
Cool.
And then the other guy tries it and fires and hits the wall.
Yeah.
Why? Any of this? Why?
That's one of the best action scenes in the movie.
And so anyway, then they go into this, hey, all right, team. Like it's the sort of the training, not montage, because it's much slower than a montage. But they're like, hey, this is the training part, and they're in this room, which is clearly like some office space that they've hired out. Yeah. And they've put a couple of desks here, and then they've just, because they haven't even put up posters. Like, these are not glossy posters. They put up printouts of like weapons and stuck them on the wall. So there's like a printout of like a frack jacket,
right,
and like a gun and something else.
Pointing at the wall, just saying, gun.
Yeah. And it's like, and this is where you sort of realize, this is where sort of the budget, I mean, the budget is apparent in everything, but what you sort of realize when you watch some of these films is why production design is so important.
Yeah.
Which is essentially production design being like how they dress the set.
Yes.
All the things they put to make you feel like you're in a world
But-
as opposed to...
Yeah, I was going to say, making it not look like a movie set.
Yeah, or a random office space and no way a military barracks where you've printed out some big like A3 piece of a frac jacket.
A3? Well, I didn't know they had a big budget. Alrighty.
It's just... Anyway, it's so bad and
There's-
they spend a considerable amount of time in that.
There's something much worse. So the scientist that they go to,
Yeah.
pick up and he's a zombie, he's got a name tag on.
Yeah.
And you can tell it's made of like this shitty little plastic and someone's handwritten his name on it with a vivid. And they hold that shot. Like, oh no, you couldn't have printed out a name badge? That's like $5.
Yeah, and there is a lot of that. Then they start their training, and the first thing that happens in this is that, I guess to imply that like the stakes are high and that it's not easy to be a zombie hunter, one singular zombie staggers out slowly and unthreateningly towards them, and one guy's given a shotgun, and he's like, "Cool, so just shoot the zombie."
Oh yeah. So,
And then
what the fuck? Okay. I got confused at the ending of this movie already. What the fuck happens here?
so this, as far as I can understand it,
I remember I rewatched this part.
it doesn't make any sense.
No.
but none of it makes sense. But the idea, I believe, is that he freezes up. He freezes up when the panic sets in. The slow movie zombie is coming at an incredibly plodding pace towards him, and it's all too much, and he's overwhelmed. And rather than shoot the zombie, he drops the gun. Now, in an impossible fashion, in the way that he drops it, the idea being, I believe, that the sort of back of it hits the ground, shooting upward, blowing his head off.
Yeah, because it was hard for me to perceive whether it was an intentional drop of the shotgun or not.
Yeah, so I think he's out of fear, he drops it. That then causes the gun to go off and shoot his head off, rather than what would really happen is he'd drop it and it would fall to the ground and do nothing.
Yeah, which is what confused me.
Because it doesn't make sense. The angle of the gun could never blow his head off like that from where he dropped it.
Like, I was so... Because it was just like, oh, here's the least menacing zombie of the entire movie.
Yeah. And the guy just goes, oh, shit. And then his head's exploded.
Yeah, see, that was that. It was the, oh, shit, because you wouldn't go, oh, shit, and then drop it.
Yeah.
Like, what? So it just looks like you went, oh, shit.
And then his head explodes.
Yeah. Like, it was hard to even tell. I had to, like, did he get sniped from a distance?
Yeah.
And I was like, what's going on?
And also, after that, this kind of, if you want to talk about expendables, these actors are expendable, as in they're acting, because they're a motley crew of terrible actors all banding together to be terrible, doing terrible acting in this film.
Well, 95% of the casting budget would have gone to Dolph Lundgren, right?
Sure. And
his stunt double.
Yeah, and like they all kind of, like, this man has just blown his head off, presumably.
Yeah.
And they all kind of go, wow, hey. Like, there's zero.
Now that's some high stakes, am I right?
Yeah. Like, there's just, and this is a very problematic thing that happens, is that none of them at any point ever seem like they feel like they're in danger, or they're selling the idea that they're in a precarious situation.
No, even when people get picked off, it's just like, oh, well, they got picked off out of nowhere.
He's gone.
Okay.
Let's keep going.
Oh, man.
Shoot.
Sucks for them.
So that was, and then the next person training, to your point, is he takes out a zombie successfully, and he's like, yeah, because I'm built for this shit. These zombies are nothing. And then another zombie just pops out of frame.
They were all watching, right? They're all watching this guy go, I'm the best, and no one goes,
hey, there's another zombie.
No, he's
and
dead.
like, literally, when he turned round, his peripheral vision would have seen that other zombie.
Yeah.
If there had been one there.
Yeah.
which there wasn't.
Oh,
And then that zombie sort of, teleports into frame and kills him. And they're like, oh, I guess the lesson here is don't get cocky, because zombies, if they're zombies can teleport from anywhere if they're not on camera.
yeah. The lesson here is
They've got teleporting zombies here.
stay in frame.
Exactly.
Stay dead center and middle distance.
Be very aware of the corners of frame of the camera.
Yeah.
Because
Stay middle-
zombies could pop out from anywhere of that corner.
If you stay middle distance, then they can't be right where you are. They have to run at
The
you.
real lesson is just stay in wide shots. If you stay in wide shots, you'll be safe.
Yeah.
That guy gets his arm chopped off, and he's never seen from again.
Yeah, so because they go, oh, if someone gets a bite, you can remove.
You can just remove the limb. So they do that to him. They never show him again. They never show if he survived. They never show if they were quick enough. He's just gone.
They chop off his limb, and then they never chop off anybody else's limbs later on to reiterate this point. It's just like, hey, there's a point we're going to set up, and we've made the point.
So
Next.
now we never need to ever do that again.
Yeah. And who's the man training them? Mr. Russian accent.
And we should, yes, and Mr. Russian accent actually is a better actor than all the American actors in this.
Yeah, well, he's
he had at
also...
least a degree of intensity and believability.
And he had a story.
Yeah, and so anyway, but he kind of shows them how it's done.
Yeah.
And this is the most unique happening. Well, I guess there's two, but this is probably the most unique happening in the film, where he cuts off a zombie's head and drop kicks the head into another zombie.
Yeah. Being a bit creative, eh? Having a bit of fun. It's like the most creative thing they do in the entire movie.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I was like, okay. But yeah, this is also where the young lead actor really comes to the forefront of being the worst actor in the history of acting.
The real discount Ready Player One.
Yeah, like just
looking guy.
his acting, everything is just single thing he says is inauthentic and somewhat unbelievable.
Yeah,
whether he's meant to be any emotion, he doesn't play any of them.
No.
He's just saying words.
Just cocky-ish.
Yeah.
Like, that's about it. That's as good as it gets.
So anyway, then they get to Terminal Island.
Yeah.
They get dropped in on helicopter, where they're just in this real tight interior where you can't really tell, is it a helicopter? But there's a helicopter sound, so there must be a helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
And then they sort of come out to presumably where was the Mexico set, which is sort of a bit run down. They sort of come in and they like, we need to get to find the missing team. They go inside this building, and there's just a leg, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just a leg propped on a step.
Yep.
Like just a leg by itself. And then I think Dolph's sort of like, looks like we found the team. Who knows that could be a zombie's leg.
Yeah.
That could be anything.
Yeah.
We don't know.
But cool line. Yeah.
But cool line.
Yeah.
Then the zombies sort of come in, and this is and we haven't really talked about the zombies. Zombie makeup, awful.
Yeah.
Really, really bad. Like, imagine going to a Halloween party. And you go, I'm going dressed as a zombie. And you go down to the makeup, the cheap store that sells like those $2 makeup things, and you paint your face and you put some bags on you. That's literally 90% of these zombies.
Yeah. You rip up a few clothes.
Yeah, you tear up your clothes a little bit.
And you very clearly put on a limp.
And all of these zombies are not fast-moving zombies.
No, they're all the same, bar one.
And they're very, very slow, which means they're very easy to get away from. And yet, because of this whole teleportation into frame thing, no actors can ever get away from them,
Yeah.
They just keep getting blindsided by these zombies.
There's only one part where they ever have the potential to be overwhelmed by zombies.
Yeah.
And then they don't because of a stupid thing, which we'll get into. But every other time it's just off screen. So I've got a list of tropes that this movie follows. I could be describing a lot of zombie films as I go through this.
Yep.
So this movie focuses on a hero protagonist who leads a group of survivors. The main goal for the group is securing the cure for the virus. Big bad evil corporation is fighting against the goal of the survival group. slow-moving, mindless, feet-dragging zombies moving in hordes, or as large a hordes as this movie could afford.
Which is 6 people at a time, generally speaking.
Yeah, probably the same 6 people as well.
Oh, a lot of you actually saw like there's 2 shots where they're coming from one side and then they're coming from the other side, and I'm like, I'm definitely seeing, and we use this trick too, but it's like essentially it's the same zombies, you've just shuffled them round a bit.
Yeah.
And going, well, we don't have any more extras.
You
so.
two, switch shirts.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. There's a big zombie. Whoa. Yeah, that's
Patient Zero.
Yeah, he's the boss in the game, probably. One of the characters sacrifices themselves for the greater good. Very stupidly. They could have been fine.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
Refuge is sought in a safe haven that they find, probably like a church or a mall or something like that. A religious group is formed with a leader spouting Bible quotes. I've found safety and hoo-hoo.
Yep.
And someone from the group betrays everyone for a dumb reason. Yep.
All of them. Tick, 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 tick.
How I found those tropes, I literally Googled. Sorry, not Google. I went into ChatGPT.
Yep. Our old AI friend.
It's just Google, but a bit smarter in it. But
Famous last words for humanity.
I mean, for anything creative. And I Googled zombie movie tropes.
Yeah.
If I was to Google that, I'd get a list from some website. This is just taken, I guess, the most popular ones from all of them and conglomerate.
Yeah, from the history of the Earth,
from the observable internet prior to 2021.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's what it came up with.
Yeah. And I've went, give me some more, and then it repeated itself. So yeah, good. We'll all be out of jobs.
Now there is, as they escape up to try and find the last surviving team member.
Yeah.
There is a section where the main guy is trapped by the other zombie, by zombies approaching him.
Yep.
And he's like, "Could I have a little help here?" And one of the army guys that is soon to die is like, "Yeah, sure, no, I'll help you out." And so to help him, rather than shoot the zombies around him, which would be very effective.
That sounds good.
Yeah. He picks up a dead body from near him.
Yeah.
Right? He picks it up, this dead body, over his head.
Yes.
In a feat of strength gorilla press.
Yeah.
And then he hurls this body at the zombies while saying, "Have a nice flight," because they are on a flight of stairs.
I thought it was also just because he was going to make them fly.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
Double pun.
Woohoo.
And that body hits 4 zombies and like kind of like bowling pins forces them. It actually doesn't knock any of them over.
No.
They're all on the stairs.
It stops their momentum.
It stops their momentum and pushes them back like they all take one step back.
Yeah.
So
And
much more effective than shooting them.
But for him to think, this is the plan, and me executing it is going to make it work, and for them to be like, yeah, that did it.
and then obviously that does those
perfect.
Those 4 zombies all taking one step back.
Yeah.
Gave the other this lead actor Sam or Mark or whoever the hell he is the opportunity to run up the rest of the stairs.
Yeah, good on him.
Before the man
it's not even that cool.
Before the man who put down his gun to do the throwing is then eaten by zombies.
Off-screen zombie.
Well, off-screen zombies, which also doesn't make sense because...
And then he just gets quickly overwhelmed by zombies that seemingly weren't there.
If they were up there and they were there, then the protagonist would have no way through. But
and then
was fine.
You see Dolph Lundgren's kind of just at the end of the corridor, and he's like,
"Shit,
oh well,
shit." That was my mate actually.
I was kind of on lookout there. Oh well.
And then we come to Patient Zero, which is like this giant big zombie.
Yes.
Now I did make a note. Looks better than Nemesis in Resident Evil 3.
Fuck no, disagree. Nemesis looks like, even if you don't like the design, you can tell they executed the design perfectly to what they were going for. This just looks like a tall dude in makeup.
Tall dude with kind of like glue stuck to his face.
Yeah, not even
look better than the Nemesis to me.
Fuck no. Hard to disagree. And I'm not even Like, oh, Resident Evil's really good, and
You're
Nemesis
a
is my
Nemesis
favorite.
fan.
Yeah. No.
So anyway, they're shooting up the Nemesis / Patient Zero.
Not at the head. They show
yep.
like I would have thought maybe they all shoot for the head, and then they show no, that's not even working. It's just it's all.
They all shoot him in the chest, but it doesn't really have too much effect. And then a couple of them get thrown. Well, one gets their neck broken.
Mm-hmm.
Or does he? Or does he survive longer?
Who cares?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
Anyway, so then the UFC girl, she gets thrown into like, you know, some cardboard boxes or something, and she's hurt her leg.
Yeah, broken it.
She's broken it. And she can't do anything because she's broke her leg.
Yep.
And so
anyone who's ever broken their leg has never amounted to anything.
And so she goes, go on without me.
Yeah.
You know, leave me.
Yeah.
You know, because my leg's broken. I can't do anything.
One of the characters has to sacrifice themselves for the greater good.
That's right.
She's listened to the podcast.
So anyway, so Dolph is like, I don't really like that. I know. And he takes this grenade launcher.
Yes.
The story of which has been set up earlier.
Unfortunately, CSU has a limited supply, so only one per unit.
One unit gets one.
It does a big explode.
But it blows things up. It's really quite good. Yeah, use it wisely.
It's expensive for the movie's budget for the effects.
So he has this grenade launcher. And rather than shoot the zombie, blow it up, presumably, possibly
have a chance
of leaving the broken leg lady alive.
Yep.
He doesn't.
No.
And he throws away his most powerful weapon, which they've never ever established only has one grenade.
Yeah.
You know, like presumably he's got like 10 grenades.
Yeah.
You know, that he could just reload. So rather than shoot the zombie and blow it up and leave with the grenade launcher,
he goes, hey, here, kill yourself.
Go kill yourself. He chucks a grenade launcher to her. There goes his most powerful weapon, and she blows up.
Yep.
And then, obviously, rather than show that explosion, Dolph Lundgren, or his stunt double, dives through the hole, and they throw some dirt into frame.
I noticed that too. I was like, oh, that's... Yeah, and I was like, oh, wow, they filmed that the next day. They're not even close.
Yeah, and the trajectory of that dirt does not look like it was from, like, it's also dirt.
Yeah.
As opposed to like blood or brains or
a blast, fire effect.
Anything. No, it's just some dirt.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So we sort of come to the assistant scientist.
Yeah. With old dead scientist with bad name tag.
Yeah. And so they're gonna help her get out. And what's her name?
Don't care.
What's the actress's name though?
Her name's Autumn Reeser. Autumn
Reeser from the OC fame.
Yes.
And so I knew, because I was a huge fan of the OC and the DC, and so that was a beloved program to me. And I was like, something seems weird here. It's like a real actor has walked into this movie and is doing some like decent acting.
Yeah.
Like she can actually act.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also actually a bad thing because it's making all the other actors look even worse.
Yeah.
Because if you just see, it's just like if you see everyone is uniformly bad, you kind of lower your standards. But then if one person seems actually scared and can actually show emotions and can actually act, and then all these people can't, it just makes them even worse.
Yeah.
So it's actually not a good thing that she's doing good acting here.
It's good for her.
I mean,
it's not good for the movie.
They somehow wind up in this strip club area.
Yep.
Which is adjacent to this research facility.
Yeah, of course.
Like down the road in another part of the building.
Yeah. It's in the set was next to the set of the science facility was what it really was.
So anyway, they go in here and then there's like a zombie stripper like up on stage.
It was an homage to Resident Evil 2.
Well, I was going to say there's been a lot of, some people really like the concept of zombie strippers.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Can you name any? Not strippers, I mean people who like them.
Paul Thomas Anderson.
All right. What about Paul W.S. Anderson?
Oh, is that him? Shit. Sorry.
I was thinking of a guy.
So anyway, they shoot her. And she falls backwards and bounces off the trampoline that has been laid for her. And that just happens. We just see that.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool.
That is paying homage to the springboard tracks.
Exactly. Well, that's why I thought you'd like it so much.
I didn't notice it.
We've got the springboard zombies from House of the Dead.
Yeah.
And now we've got the trampoline stripper zombie where she's falling, but that's the thing. She's falling. It's weird because if it was a crash pad, at least she'd just fall.
Yeah.
But she's obviously on something bouncy, so she falls and bounces up a little bit and then just lands there.
I'm sure I'll have a little chuckle while I'm editing
And then
this.
we actually cut to her later lying on a non-trampoline ground, like a hard ground.
Yeah.
Where she presumably died.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Died again.
Yeah. Also, they meet up with the zombie twin hunters.
Oh, yeah, this seemed weird.
So I was like, these have to be two people from the game or something.
They might be.
Because they have no business. Again, terrible actors. Again, completely unconvincing.
Oh, and they do that thing of like, oh, wait, I think I know these people. They call them the twins, and they are some of the most dangerous people of blah, 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 blah. And it's just
They
like,
probably killed more zombies than you, Dolph.
Yeah, ooh.
And then they're like, well, we're going to shoot you. No, we're going to shoot you. Well, you can shoot us, or how about you come help us shoot some zombies?
Yeah.
And then it just hard cuts and they're like, they're part of the team.
Yeah, we joined you. But they've still got foreign accents, so maybe they're actually still bad in this movie's universe.
And then we come to the church.
We come to the church. Or what I think is the front of a church on a set. It never looks like a full three-dimensional building, at least not when it's introduced. I go, that's the front of a building. It's absolutely a set.
Yeah.
And then they use cuts where you can,
Yeah.
like, they're just avoiding showing any of it.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't usually notice things like that. I'm usually like, oh, I'm in this movie.
Yeah, the production design is just so appalling because essentially when you can't afford to dress sets, you have whatever is there.
Yes.
And what you quickly realize when you watch a movie like this is that whatever is there, like if a window and a regular door is just there, it actually looks really bad on screen. You need it to be aged and weathered and an interesting type of door with an interesting type of window with stained glass or something.
Like,
that's movies.
Yeah, and this, like, it's a big thing with video game movies is costumes.
Yeah.
Is that every time someone's wearing a costume from the game, it looks so crisp and it looks so new and like no one's ever worn it.
Yeah.
And it's just so like starchy. It's
Yes.
like it's just like
Crisp, freshly pressed.
Like there was it's not really related, but there was some stills that just came out for the new live action like Last Airbender
Oh God.
TV show or movie that they're going to be doing with like age appropriate actors.
Yeah.
And it just looks so clean.
Yeah.
Everyone looks like they've just gotten into their clothes.
Yeah.
And it's just like, have they not done anything ever?
Yeah.
Aren't they poor and live on some on like Antarctica basically where they've just got they try to fish to keep themselves alive or whatever. I'm just like, yeah, but they've got the freshest fucking clothes on the planet.
And that's the thing, like that's a whole job for someone if they're doing it well, which is to kind of age clothes, and sort of make them look lived in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, we're at the church,
and there's the religious guy. There's a religious guy who says a thing and he tells you which Bible verse it is. Wow. It's really cool to be able to take your movie script from one of the oldest books.
The power of the Lord and the power of the sword is one of those lines.
Yeah.
And I really did want to distinguish, like, normally this is where like another good actor would be introduced as the kind of crazy church leader, you know?
Yeah.
That does not happen.
No, you just get some guy who's kind of like airy-fairy, closes his eyes when he talks.
Terrible.
Ooh, and I just kind of talk like this because I'm
like,
spiritual, but I'm also very religious.
His acting is so bad, and I was actually like, oh, I get what this is.
Yeah.
I get what this is. This guy is an investor in this film. And they've given him a role as this. He's like, I'll give you $100,000 as long as I'm the church guy.
Yeah.
And they've said yes to that.
Yeah.
Cause man, and there's a bit where he's like, you know, anything he says is worse than the lead actor's acting, which was really, really unconvincing.
Yeah.
But this guy And there's a bit, at this introduction of him, and he goes,
This is my wife, Loretta.
and he does this weird gesture with his hand, which is a very, I don't know what to do with my hands moment.
He's practiced it.
Yeah.
Like, should I do it like, he's just like overthought it?
Yeah,
Like,
he's just kind
should I do it like this? Oh, should I have my thumb out or my thumb in when I point?
Yeah. So yeah, he's in it.
Yeah. And then so they want to use the church's truck to get out of there, and then they'll come back and save them.
Yeah.
But while Kyle Walker and lead kid actor are busy, Russian weapons guy tries to betray everyone by pledging allegiance to Cyglope's plans and wishing to live on this island as a king by himself once all the zombies are gone or something. And I think by giving himself the cure only, and I guess they all just kind of die off.
Right.
He gets all the girls to lower their weapons to the ground.
Yeah.
But then, like, immediately gets distracted.
Yeah.
And none of them.
Yeah.
Like, he just kind of, like, walks past them, whatever, and none of them think to, like, pick up their weapons and shoot him.
Yeah.
And the only one that decides to take any kind of action does so with a sword. Just shoot him. You've all got your guns on the ground right there. He's distracted.
Yeah.
Even Kyle Walker comes back in and he's like, oh, I guess I'll just beat him up.
Yeah.
And tie him up because he doesn't shoot people because he's the good protagonist, lead hero guy.
Yeah.
Later on, Russian hero guy convinces religious guy he's on his side and then...
To let him go.
To let him go, and then he just immediately shoots him.
So after he did all that, and then he's like, hey, and he goes, what are you saying, man? I can't understand you with that thing on your mouth. And so he takes it off and he's like, yeah, look, I'll help you.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay.
We're on the same side. Oh, didn't think about it that way.
Sweet.
Bang.
Yeah.
But
so
why?
Yeah.
Sequel, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, all of that is not good. I also noticed that when they are trying to get onto this truck,
yes,
right, they come outside and there's a whole bunch of zombies out there.
Yeah.
One of the zombies is standing on the truck.
Yep. So you can't imagine the zombie.
There's just no, like, he would shuffle around the truck.
Yeah,
he would never climb up on top of the truck and then stand on the truck.
Yeah.
It's just really strange choice.
Because they don't climb, these ones. They're all dawdling. See, that's what's always weirded me out. So zombies are, in a lot of things, super strong. You know, they can rip through, like, window panes.
Hard to kill.
Rip open doors and stuff. So surely he would have the strength to pull himself up onto a truck. Right? If he's got the thought. So maybe it's not that weird.
I just don't, it's just like...
These zombies seem very weak and fragile.
Walk around the truck. Walk up to the truck. Walk around the truck. Don't walk up to the truck, hop up on the truck, stand up on the truck, get shot on the truck.
Because then you can get shot off the truck. Does he get shot off the truck?
Nah, he just gets shot on the truck. Again, they don't like, he shot on the truck and then he falls over on the truck.
Well, now he gets to be in the credits as zombie on truck.
Yeah. So, anyway, they sort of head off because they take the truck to get to wherever the extraction point is.
Yep. Sure. Sounds right to me.
But first, also, Dolph was like, hey, call the chopper in, guys. We found this one person.
Yeah.
And his mate is like, negative, I can't do it. Because it turns out that Cyglope lady is there.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, don't do that.
Yeah. Evil corporation is doing evil corporation things for no reason. And then he hangs up and they just shoot him in the head. Another thing where it's just like, how about you shoot you in the head? It's the third time.
It's also, the truck runs out of gas.
Yeah.
And they have this kind of like faux romance between the lead protagonist guy and some girl.
With like fake wild hair.
And fake chemistry, obviously.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's a bit where he stumbles and she goes, whoa, I got you.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Now we're even.
She saved his life just then, obviously.
Yeah. She saved his life because he almost tripped over.
Yeah.
Also, he tripped over, stopped, and then she grabbed him.
Yeah.
That's fucking stupid.
That's the chemistry, man.
The chemistry is unbelievable. It's off the charts.
Yeah. Like, the Cyglope lady, at one point, I was like, is this an error? Because at some point she is on the phone. She's got the phone up to her ear, and then she goes to like hang up or something, and I'm like, that's not even a phone. It's a phone case. However, later on, she like her assistant brings something in and she like signs it off to show, look, she's an executive something. And it's also just like a clear bit of
That's
glass
right, I
something.
saw
So I
that.
think it's just supposed
It's
to
the
be
future.
futuristic.
In the future, they don't use phones to communicate. They use phone cases.
It's just like this clear thing. And I'm like, oh, I can see through that. Oh,
They
yeah,
use
that's
the
weird.
plastic cases that phones used to be in.
Yeah. It's supposed to be like touchscreen
Yeah.
future. Probably. But
the
nothing
future.
else is.
Yeah.
It's just that.
Yeah.
So it takes me out completely.
So anyway, they come out of the truck. Actually, that blonde girl dies.
And that blonde girl.
Yeah.
Would you say she's in the running for your favorite segment?
Which is...
Worst hair.
Yeah.
I'd say it's her with like the
Yep.
fake little thing, and then their hair kind of gets wild. They try to make them seem like what you've said is a motley crew,
Yeah.
which just means one of them's got a bit of face paint.
Oh,
some
man.
of them have.
He's got two, like, black marks under his eye. Like, actually, he's going to play American football or something like
Yes.
that, you know?
Well, yeah, like jock. He's kind
Yeah.
of a jock dude.
Yeah.
And what he actually did was he touched Dolph Lundgren's hair, and then he
That's right.
and then he
put,
smeared it on his cheeks.
put that shoe polish under his cheeks and it stayed there for the whole film.
So whose hair is worse? Is it shoe polish?
Dolph Lundgren?
Very clearly aged face, almost doesn't need zombie makeup to convince me he's a zombie.
Yeah.
But then jet black hair of a
Yeah.
of like a man in his young 20s.
Yeah.
Or is it messy blonde haired girl there?
Probably messy blonde hair girl.
Yeah. Are you being nice
Probably.
to Dolph Lundgren because you hate women? No, sorry. Is it because of the news of Dolph Lundgren?
Well, we have found out on the show, not on the show, but we've he has been in this cancer battle.
Yeah, he revealed recently in
Yeah.
the last month or so as of recording that within the last 8 years, which means that during this filming, he
Yeah.
was, I guess, going through
Yes.
a battle against cancer.
Yeah.
Can't tell.
No.
He just seems old.
He just seems,
Just seems the age that he is.
Yeah.
He is an older man now.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But thankfully, it seems that it's on the mend.
Hope so. Yeah.
Touch wood, and we're, we all need Dolph Lundgren in films. Just not this one. Just not this one.
Yeah.
Look, man, if you want to see a great Dolph Lundgren film, I would recommend Universal Soldier. That's a doozy. That's
Yeah.
good shit.
Yeah, cool.
Or as we mentioned previously, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
We didn't mention that on the podcast.
No, prior to the recording, Dolph Lundgren. That's in the recommendation section. But he plays He-Man, and he certainly looks like He-Man.
It's not on my recommendations.
Highly recommend it as like pure. Like, it's very much like the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Only watch it if you like the source material.
No, like where they've got Super Mario Brothers and they're like, how do we make this live action? Let's kind of remove all the things of the game and do something fucking totally weird.
So you mean like the original Super
The
Mario Bros.
original
Right,
Super Mario Bros. He-Man, the Masters of the Universe, is very similar in style. That it's just like bonkers insane.
They didn't know what the fuck they were doing in the early 90s,
Nah.
late 80s, did they? No.
No,
Yeah.
and this is a great example of that. So I recommend that. That's my Dolph Lundgren pick.
All right.
But anyway, so now they've got to run the gauntlet.
God, it's so hollow. It's so hollow and empty. We've got to run the gauntlet. What does that mean? A bunch of zombies are going to come and attack us on this particular strip.
And yeah, they're like, has anyone ever made it before? No. Okay, well, let's do it. Let's try it then.
Let's all make it.
Let's
how
all,
about
how about we all
Oh,
survive?
okay.
How about
Well,
we
that'll
all
show
do
us
it?
how cool and tough we are.
So anyway, essentially, they've got to run through this heavily infested
Dozen of zombies.
a dozen zombies for sure.
Yeah.
And then
Including children.
and they get into the middle of this.
Yeah.
And then they pause. So rather than keep running
Mhm.
and be safe from these very slow moving dozen zombies,
They could just like genuinely just jog around them.
instead they decide to huddle in the middle
Yeah.
for them all to close in and try and shoot them all.
And they don't look like they're stressed. They don't look panicked.
No.
They're just kind of going like aim for that one's head, and then that one's head, and then that one's head. No particular order.
Yeah.
Just kind of like the boatman from House of the Dead.
Yeah.
And he, like,
I see you've got an homage to the boatman of the House of the Dead today.
I've also got the coat of his mate.
You decided to cosplay as the boatman from House of the Dead today.
I want to be as cool as him.
They're shooting people, or they're shooting zombies, or they're trying to.
Yeah.
And they're completely overwhelmed.
Kind of.
When the dozen zombies have surrounded them.
Yes.
And there's no escape.
The stupidest fucking thing happens. 2 jets fly overhead, and then all the zombies just look up and go, whoa. And they go, all right, now's our chance. Let's shove through them and escape. That's not heroic.
Like they also could have done prior to those jets, you know.
Yeah.
Because there's the thing, like, the jets didn't distract the zombies to the point that the zombies moved away from them.
No, they just looked up. And the jets weren't still there. They're jets. They're fucked off. They're fast. They've gone. If it was helicopters or something.
Yeah, you might believe.
Then they've just gone, and they've gone, whoa.
They all looked up.
I'm not hungry anymore.
That was the opening to run so they got through it and they made it. And they get picked up by this other army team. And basically Dolph's like, yeah, so this beautiful lady from the OC, who's a very good actress, is the key to the future, and she may come up with a cure. So take care of her. I'm going back.
Because I'm a hero. You guys got any of those jets? I might need you to just fly them overhead all the time.
So I'm going back to that church.
Yeah. And then what we talked about earlier, that confused me.
And then he does go back to that church, and then we pause and we realize the whole thing was just a video game.
This whole thing is a facade.
This whole thing was a video game.
No, I mean like the movie being made and us having to watch it. It's fucking bullshit.
It was all a video game, but a precursor to a real zombie outbreak, which we know nothing about.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that sounds exciting. Could we see that on screen?
Nope.
Oh.
Only the video game that is completely meaningless that these fucking nerds played.
All right, this is going to be very quick. What was the best part of this movie, Guy?
Oh,
I've got it that at least nobody died on set, and that's more than Dolph Lundgren can say for the Expendables.
Really?
Yeah, stuntmen and shit.
Damn.
Real bad record for the Expendables.
Really?
Yeah, I guess that fits with the name.
Not good.
No. All these action stars, they're not really doing any action. They're old now.
Yeah.
Best part of this movie for you?
Best part of this movie for me was the OC.
What, just her existing?
Autumn. Just her being in this.
Eye candy for you?
Just also, I really did. I felt like, I was like, oh, this is real acting. I remember what acting is again.
Oh my God.
I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it.
She's from my childhood.
I'm seeing
Does she remember me?
I'm seeing
Is this love?
I'm seeing some acting.
Autumn! Autumn!
So she's the highlight for me.
Yeah. I have one.
You don't have a highlight? Or what was your highlight? No one died.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, nobody died.
Okay.
Nobody died in real life.
Yeah.
Oh, and sorry. Worst. Fucking hard to narrow it down. But mine, for me, was having to rewatch bits because I was having fever dreams while watching them.
Yeah.
So I had to watch more than the 90-minute runtime.
Yeah. I think the worst bit was actually the aircraft distracting the zombies enough for them to escape.
It was fucking stupid, wasn't it?
Because it was so.
Like,
and
could we have a cool action scene where they like shoot them all, or they do something really heroic, or they use teamwork? No, a distraction out of their control, and then they just run like cowards.
And then Dolph runs back through them again.
But we don't see it.
It's just, that was definitely the worst parts for me. And it did also make me think, like, when you think about these kind of B movies.
This is not a B.
No. So like a D movies, is that the plot hole and logic gaps.
Yeah.
Rather than like you watch a sort of a mainstream film and you'll see, obviously if you don't see any, that's great.
Yeah.
They've really told a good story.
Yeah.
But normally you'll see one or two and you'll go, oh yeah, movies.
Yeah.
Right.
You go, that doesn't really make sense. Maybe I'll think about that later. Maybe I can make it make sense in my mind. Oh well.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll argue about it with someone on the internet.
Maybe we'll do a podcast.
Maybe I'll call them slurs. How about that? Maybe I'll go on Reddit and anyway.
So We don't need to know about how your weekend went. But,
Yeah, sorry.
I guess the thing is, for these movies, they crop up like every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, rather than be like a few isolated incidents where you're like, this is just like constantly you going, for the whole film. Just the whole film of you going, what? Just continuously.
That noise, I think, was still just running through my head after watching this film. It's like whenever you watch a movie and someone's been hit by a flashbang, it's just that noise.
Yeah.
Like when you watch a movie and there's little plot holes, but the whole thing is a big thread. It's a big rope and there's little loose bits and you go, oh, those don't really tie in. This movie is trying to find threads to connect and like, can any of this make sense?
Not
is
really.
any of this viable? How the fuck was this made?
Yeah.
On a shoestring budget that all given to Dolph.
Yeah.
And stock footage of fighter jets.
Yep. Couple of good shots there of those fighter jets.
Maybe that's what it was. They spent so much money on it. Well, we have to use it. Time for everyone's favorite segment. Don't you know? This overseas is also known as zombie shooter. Which...
Accurate.
Yeah. Action movie. It's as generic as the movie itself. And that's the end of Don't You Know. There's nothing. Nobody has written anything about this movie other than just like, you fucking avoid it. Don't watch it. It sucks.
Nor will anyone ever. This is the most amount of time any people in the human history.
Anybody not being paid to be on set or involved with the editing of this movie. This is the longest anyone's ever thought about it.
Commit to this film.
Yeah.
We've done it.
Yeah.
So if we've done one useful thing.
I wouldn't say that. But
I need to save others.
Yeah, please watch this instead of that.
Yeah.
It's shorter. How successful was this movie?
Well, I might guess that it's actually kind of successful only because the budget would have been so low that potentially it could have made money.
Doubt it. It got like a theatrical release at like a thing somewhere, a Sundance, but shit.
Yeah. Not Sundance,
no.
definitely.
No. Moonfall.
Yeah.
And
and
then it got released on streaming like 2 years later.
Right.
So I think there's just a vague hope that maybe someone will stumble across this by accident. Maybe it'll pop up on the play next when someone falls asleep watching Apple TV or something like that. And while this movie was one of the worst movies I've ever seen, and definitely the worst thing I've watched for this podcast, and really thankful there is no sequel yet.
Yeah.
I've given it a 10. But out of what? The worst rating I've given anything so far was Doom at 99.
Right.
500.
It's 10 out of 500.
10 out of 500. This is just taking the cake. It's ridiculously bad.
And what was the worst rating I'd given anything?
10,000.
What was that?
Doom.
That was Doom 2. Okay. Yeah, did I enjoy this more than Doom? It's a real tough call.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm going to give this 10 out of 10,001.
Wow. Oh, taking the cake for both of us.
Yeah.
Well, should I loosen my score a bit? Maybe I might. Maybe I'm going to loosen a little bit. 400.
400.
10 out of 400. Despite how we feel about this movie, I do have some good recommendations. One of those is there's a YouTuber called Chris Stuckman who's been reviewing movies on YouTube for about 12 years. He made a video discussing the video game adaptation curse. So basically just the very existence of this podcast.
Yep, the concept of this podcast.
Yeah.
Yep.
And also a very loose connection. But there's a podcast series called Finding Drago.
Yep.
I won't spoil too much about it because the less you know, the better going into it. But two comedians journalism their way into investigating a mysterious book about Ivan Drago called Finding Drago.
Now, Ivan Drago is...
in Rocky IV, played by Dolph Lundgren.
He's the Russian in Rocky IV.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I very highly recommend that. That's a really good one. There's also some sister series to that, Finding Desperado, and a YouTube series, Finding Yeezus, pre-controversy Kanye West. Well, the most
recent controversy, yeah.
Straight up Nazi Kanye West.
Pre-Nazi West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please end my misery and get me to a better movie. I don't know if you can tell, but I really didn't
Did
like
not
this
like,
movie.
didn't care for this one.
So now we're going to be covering the next Resident Evil movie, Resident Evil Extinction. We'll be covering on the next episode.
And I believe this is where it really goes post-apocalyptic. They get out in the desert or something. I don't know.
Things in deserts are usually boring for me. Usually quite a turn-off. And things that are just in heavy, deep snow. Just like, there's just nothing around.
So that's cool. We're doing another zombie film.
Yeah, I love the variety.
Yeah. Nothing like it.
Action zombie film.
Nothing like it.
Yeah. Except for all the other things that I like it.
Mm.
Speaking of liking things, if you like what we do, please consider following us using the links in the show notes or the description and leave a good review. It means a lot and means our little project can grow.
And check us out on YouTube. You can give us a like and a comment there as well.
If you're not already.
And I guess we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see you then. We'll be covering Resident Evil Extinction. See ya.
See ya.